What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 31 of Value Town. I'm your host, ChanManV, and we've got a full show prepared for you guys today. Lots of stuff going on in the news. We've got a new card again. I feel like each and every week we do Value Town, we're getting new cards now. And we'll be talking about meta, just what the current meta is, what I guess all the folks here think that what the meta is right now. And then we'll talk about one of our guests' warrior decks too, which has a few tweaks which were pretty interesting this past weekend. Oh, what's going on, Trump?
Oh, just faking that it's my warrior
Oh,
deck.
it's your warrior deck. Okay. And we're going to be doing some Q&A again with you guys. And it's the same as usual, just on Reddit. Post your questions there. We'll ask the most upvoted ones. And so be sure to upvote your favorite ones as well as get your own questions in. And here's the link, guys, just in case you guys don't know. But I want to introduce the cast here, my co-host each and every week, everybody, or one of everybody's favorite streamers and the mayor of Valuetown, Trump. What's up? And we got two first-timers here, two first-time guests today. We've got Mr. TidesofTime here. He's fresh off 2 wins in the last few days, so he's like on fire here. We'll talk to him a little bit more about that. And then newly joining TSM here, Massan. That's some big news. We'll be talking to Massan just in a second about that too. But let's get on to the news. Just kind of alluded to the news there, and want to kick things off with just the TSM news, Massan. So big news. TSM's obviously a huge team. I think lots of folks know TSM from the League of Legends community, but at this point their brand's been really large now. They're obviously trying to get into Hearthstone. So you are their first player. So how do you feel, man?
Feels good. I think I think hopefully it's a good pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it will be beneficial for both team and me.
So were there a lot of other teams that were courting you before you decided on TSM?
There were three or four other teams who wanted to recruit me, but I think the TSM suits me the best. Their characteristic, I think it's what I want to go for, so I picked them up.
Cool. Do you know if there's plans to start, just pick up some more players now, or are you probably going to be the one and only player for some time? Any idea?
They're trying to pick up new and other players to go along with. It's gonna take some time because
okay.
I think I was contacted like 2 weeks before everyone else, so we'll see how it goes.
Great, man. Yeah, I mean TSM is crazy. I mean, definitely, obviously, really huge. And what's the first event? You're going to DreamHack. Will DreamHack be the first event you represent them, or a different one?
Yep. Wait. There's a Lord Arena thingy, and I don't know if I'm under their name.
Has it officially been announced?
First major.
It has officially been announced, right?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah. Okay. So, you could probably start using that name. I think this weekend. But yeah, Lord of the Arena, it's for those of you wondering what Lord of the Arena is the Raynon tournament that they're going to be doing this weekend. I was going to plug it at the end, but we might as well plug it now. It's a tournament that's going to be consisting of 6 players, 6 of the best arena players, I believe. And it's going to be it's like a constructed tournament, but it's going to be based off of arena drafts, which is cool. A lot more coming there. Be sure to watch it this weekend. It's on Saturday or Sunday? Sunday at 12 Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Eastern time. So definitely check that out. But okay, news-wise too, Tides, obviously you've been on a roll lately. You won the Deck Wars Season 1 finals on the weekend, and then you followed it up with a King of the Hill win just the other night. So you mentioned taking a little break from Hearthstone and then just kind of getting back into it. Has that helped you out, that break? Because you seem to be playing really well lately.
Well, I do try a bit harder in tournaments, so if you see me playing on ladder, I'll make a lot more mistakes than I do in tournaments. It hasn't really helped me, but well, at least in terms of gameplay, but it's helped me in terms of stress, I guess. Just a nice 2-week relaxed break.
Yeah. Nice. How'd you feel in both? I mean, how'd you feel in the Deck Wars tournament, I guess? And we talked a little bit about it, but for those of you that didn't get a chance to catch it, obviously it was a 2-day event for you. Overall, how'd you feel about your play the entire tournament?
The first day, I think I made quite a few mistakes. I did make a lot of plays that were, I guess, hard to decide.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I made a lot of like really silly mistakes. Like against the Miracle Rogue in the Warrior versus Miracle Rogue matchup, I ended up taking like 9 unnecessary damage due to small misplays, like 3 turns in a row. So I was pretty upset about that. But going in, I was feeling pretty confident. I didn't think
Hmm.
anyone was going to be running a warrior like mine.
Yeah.
So, it's going to take them by surprise. And I feel like Jenkins is actually pretty core on Control Warrior in this meta, which no one really knew. It just synergizes so well with Faceless, Whirlwind, Acolyte of Pain.
Yeah.
Um, and, you know, rarely you're going to have Grommen time in a pressure heavy warrior deck against a Miracle Rogue or something like that.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that warrior a little bit later here. That's going to be the deck that we're focused on this episode. Lots of cool stuff. I was even talking to KitKats a tiny bit, or heard KitKats talking about it, and he really, really liked the little tweaks you made to it. So that's really, really cool. But how about the King of the Hill? The King of the Hill, you seem to play some different decks, more standard decks than the King of the Hill, and you ended
Uh,
up taking that.
the King of the Hill, I was actually more comfortable with those 3 decks in the King of the Hill
Hmm.
than I was in the Deck Wars. I just took Strife Crow's Druid, from Deck Wars. I looked at that list, and that was probably the list I was most scared of facing in the entire tournament.
Hmm.
And I tried tweaking it a bit, and the only tweak I could come up with, uh, or that I liked at least, was -1 Force of Nature, +1 Wrath. I think the 2 Force of Natures was more or less for the element of surprise, um, because no one really expects 2 Force of
Hmm.
Nature.
Right.
Well, some people expect it, but it's harder to play around 2 Force of Natures, I guess. Uh, the Wrath is just for more early game consistency. I figured in King of the Hill it was more likely that I'd be facing opponents that had aggressive decks.
Hmm.
So that's the
Right.
main reason why I really wanted 2 Wraths in there. Um, and Miracle Rogue, I think, is irreplaceable in any tournament right now. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you can see pretty
It's
much
easily the
everyone
most
running.
popular.
Yeah,
Well, it's one of the
it's
most popular decks this weekend for sure.
it's basically the strongest control deck. It's so fast.
Yeah.
And my other deck was Shaman, which Gara, my teammate, was strongly recommending I play against Reals.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I for the most part agreed with him, and I've had a lot of experience with Shaman in the past, so I was completely comfortable picking up a Shaman list.
Okay, great. I don't know, Trump. You had any have any questions or anything about news from these two guys? Otherwise, we'll
Nope.
move on. Okay, no problem. We'll move on, and let's talk about the new card, the new Nax card. Nax, gosh, I gotta get used to it. I keep saying Nox. It's a new Nax card. It's a Shaman card, and it's really cool. We get a chance to talk to about a new card each and every week. And let me bring it up real quick. I want to get your opinion. Trump, we'll lead off with you. Get your opinion on what you think this card is. Hold on a second here. Actually, what happened here? Hold on, give me a second. While I fix this, we'll talk about the cards here. Okay, so Rebirth is the name of the card, and you can see the text here. Destroy a minion, then return it to life with full health. So, how powerful is this card, Trump?
Uh-oh. Um, it's hard to say. I'm leaning towards it being useless, even though it has a lot of cool applications.
Useless. Wow. Okay. I've for generally I think the opinions have been pretty good about it. So why do you think it's useless?
There's a lot of combos you can think about doing with it, but it's kind of situational. It's something that will be probably a lot better once you see more death rattles in the set. As stands, it kind of feels very situational and like you're forcing too much of a combo. It's sort of like if we were to release Inner Fire in Naxxramas and Divine Spirit were in the core set, you'd be like, whoa, Inner Fire? Uh, man, this combos so much with Divine Spirit. Priest OP now. But so that's kind of the same stretch as this Rebirth card. It's like, oh yeah, you can combo with a lot of these cool death rattles, or you can combo with Leroy Jenkins, but
Right.
Shadow Step combos better with Leroy Jenkins currently. So it remains to be seen. I think it depends a lot on what other cards are, but I can't see much effective use for it right now.
Okay, Massan, you're making a lot of. You seem to, I don't know, disagree with some of those, given your facial expressions there. What are your thoughts on this Rebirth card?
I think it's a little too expensive. Like,
Okay.
and I don't know if there are a lot of cards has with cool death rattles, but most of them is not worth full card or 2 mana. So I like only thing I can think of is it's really good. All right, first of all, it's anti-silence, but
Yeah.
in Shaman deck, what cards can be silenced and it's good. Like there are not that many cards that you can silence on Shaman deck as of now. Obviously, it will be changed. So like we really we'll have to say like maybe there are cards that just have better death rattle than card itself. Then yeah, the reward will be cool. Like Sylvanas Windrunner will be amazing with this. But as of now, with the current card set, I think it's a little too expensive. Slash,
Okay.
taking whole card might not be the best.
Okay. Tides, what do you think about this Rebirth card?
It's definitely a synergy card, so yeah, I agree with Trump and Massan. You can't really tell how strong it'll be until more cards are released. The only card that it's strong with right now that I see is Nerubian Egg. It is the second anti-silence mechanic, the first one being Shadow Step, I believe. So there's that. I like to see new mechanics coming in the game, so I'm excited that there's more mechanics coming in. And it's as of now, it's pretty much just another ancestral spirit. Like it's there, it's fun, it's cool, but you're not going to see it on the competitive level, most likely, unless there's more Nerubian Egg type cards coming in.
Okay, interesting. From a standpoint of Arena, Trump, do you see this being any more relevant in Arena or no?
That's probably going to be one of the worst arena picks.
Okay. That's pretty straightforward there. All right, so it'll be interesting to see. Can you guys see Sylvanas being introduced to the Shaman deck? Because right now Sylvanas and Cairn and some of those with really cool death rattles or really powerful death rattles are just not in the Shaman decks.
Yeah, it's too slow for Shaman.
Too slow? Okay. Well, okay, we'll see how this ends up working out. I guess for the Shaman, there's plenty of neutral cards that are still left to be announced. So maybe this will have some great synergy with some of those cards too. But next class...
I want to emphasize, even though we're trashing this card a lot, it's based on the imperfect information due to not seeing the rest of the set. A lot of people are saying like, oh my gosh, this combo so well with like the two big death rattle cards, Cairn and Sylvanas right now. But when you combo with Cairn, it's like you have to have Cairn out, and then you play your 2 mana spell to get a 4/5, which you can already do with like Ancient Watcher kind of. It's really situational, and then your Sylvanas will get you a 2 mana mind control at random, which is pretty good. But that's also requires you to have Sylvanas out, and it's pretty tough.
True. Oh, so we have, what, 2 more classes or 3 more classes left? Just from a standpoint of Nax class cards? What do you do?
Former classes, I believe.
4 more classes, okay. So we still have Priest, I think. Priest, Mage... I'm trying to think of...
Warlock.
Okay, Warlock, yeah. Priest, Mage,
And-
Warlock. And...
Is that last
Is
class?
that it? Let me see what chat says. Chat's going to remember. What's the last one?
It's 9 classes, so we're missing one.
Massan, what are you doing, man?
I'm not doing anything.
Oh, Harry, you crack me up.
Hey, Chad.
Okay, well, anyways, there's a few more classes left over, so we have a few more weeks. Maybe there's one a week, and then they're gonna launch Snacks. We never know. Hope that would put it in late June, early July, maybe. Getting excited, can't wait. But let's move on to Meta Talk. And
Hunter.
Oh, Hunter. Oh, there we go, Hunter. Yeah, yeah. What? Oh, yeah, that's true. Hunter will be really, really, really interesting, given that everybody's been complaining about just Hunter needing some more things. Just the entire, I guess, really the entire lifespan of Hearthstone. So we'll see if they introduce a new mechanic or a new element to Hunter. But let's talk about current meta. Currently, I mean, last week actually, we were talking about just how hunters were dying down and how we were seeing some handlock and that sort of thing. But this week, I think it's pretty different, and Trump was already alluding to it just probably changing in the next week. So, Trump, what do you think of the current meta right now on the ladder? What's popular?
Okay, current meta is still very diverse. Not quite as diverse as last week, but I'd say it's kind of narrowed down to 5 main decks, which would be Token Druid, Ramp Druid, Miracle Rogue, Zoo, Handlock, and I'm actually going to throw in a 6th one, Warrior.
Okay. All right. Which ones being, if you rated
I'm
them?
going to throw in a 7th one. I can't believe I
Seventh
did
one, okay.
Shaman.
Oh yeah, Shaman.
Shaman.
Yeah, Shaman's good. I know Massan's been playing a lot of Shaman. I've been starting to play some too on the ladder. But so if you were to rank them, just kind of power wise, how would you top 3 right from those 7? What do you think?
Ugh. Well, since Shaman counters a lot of those lists, or has a favorable matchup, I'd say Shaman is one of them. And then from there on out, like the best deck of those 7 kind of depends based on what other decks are popular.
Okay.
So it's hard to answer that. I'm going to go with a Druid with anti-handlock elements and the
GG.
Zoo.
In the zoo. Okay.
Those
Yeah.
are my top 3.
Okay. Definitely been seeing a lot more Watcher Druid, at least personally. What about you, Massan? What do you think is the current meta right now?
Well, I agree with him. I agree most with what Trump said, and I just want to throw down like mid-range trade in there instead of ramp trade and token. For top 3 decks, I would want to raid Shaman, mid-range trade, and the third one is just depends on because a lot of decks that Trump mentioned earlier counters each other, so it depends on what you're facing
Right.
since they're counter decks.
Tides? How about you?
I haven't been playing much ladder, but I'd say Shaman for sure, Miracle Rogue for sure, and Strife Crow Druid.
Okay.
What is this, Strife Crow Druid? Just interrupt real fast. Since
Uh,
Strife
it
Crow has
has-
run like 3 or 4 different druids over
least.
the last
He has,
week that I know.
He has 2 Argent Commanders in it. He has 2 Force of Natures, a Big Game, Black Knight, Gnomish Inventor, 2 Ancient Watchers, 2 Golems, 2 Yetis, and everything else is pretty standard in his deck.
Yeah, the Gnomish Inventor is really interesting. What do you think of that addition to it? Tides?
I really liked it. Every time I tried to take it out, like Raynad, I was talking about it with Raynad. He wanted me to take it out, but I didn't really like taking it out. It's an extra threat for Miracle Rogue. Like a lot of the times with Strike Crow's deck, the Miracle Rogues just can't afford to take that 2 damage every turn, so they'll end up eviscerating like a 2/4 that helped you draw. And it's just a nice cycle. It draws into more damage, and since it has Ancient Watchers in it, like you're gonna want a bit more draw in your deck. Yeah, it's a nice card. I wouldn't put 2 in. I like the 1 in it though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So have you guys seen much Hunter lately? Or any variation of the Hunter?
Yeah, I've seen it around. It has its place. It's really good. Like, it's really good against Shaman, and it's really good against Handlock, which are actually 2 of the more popular decks right now. So,
Yeah.
last week I predicted the return of the Hunter eventually, even without any changes. And this week I will keep at it.
Okay. All right. The prediction continues. We're gonna see more Hunters, but yeah, Shaman for sure is getting more popular. So it made sense to me last week, and it still makes sense to me that would potentially be a kind of shift, I guess, to make up for that. But in general, what do you guys think of the meta right now? Do you think it's just, I mean, it's just constantly cyclical from week to week, or do you think it's in a really, really healthy place at this point? Because having it change is really, really cool. Having it, just constantly changing, but if it just kind of changes in the same way every 3 or 4 weeks, that's not so cool, right? So, what do you guys think about the current state of it? Massan, I'll get your opinion first.
Uh, I think it might be moving a little too fast, although it's just cycling between the same decks.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like I've been playing 4 or 5 different decks, and with all 5 of them, I have hit both top 10 and like top 300 with all 5 each differently. So like you can clearly tell like if you just stick with one deck, it gets countered one day or another. One
Mm-hmm.
day it will do well, and then a day after it's gonna get countered. So
Do
I'm,
you
I'm
do you guys track your matches? Like, because of that, and you mentioned it a little bit too. Just I think in the previous question, Masan, that it really just kind of depends on what you're playing that day. So do you guys actually track it? And if you're seeing a trend at least for that day, you end up switching decks. That might counter whatever you're seeing that day, or do you just kind of try to stick with just one deck and just play through it and just play through probability type of thing? Masan?
Personally, I've only done that in one season 4, test season 4.
Okay, so just once.
Hmm.
Trump, do you ever do that?
I think going off of one person's stats for one day is unreliable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that the trends that I don't actually collect stats on constructed. It's something that I think would be valuable though. And I
Okay.
know there are programs out there which do it easily. I'll have to look into it someday. Let's see. I tend to try to forward think though. So if I see things just slightly changing one direction, I'll try to stay one step ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Okay. Masan, do you track or no?
I stopped doing it
I
Okay.
for similar reasons.
misinterpreted.
Well,
Oh, you
oh,
meant. Go ahead, Masan.
you, wait, what do you mean I misinterpreted?
No. Go. It's,
All right.
it's unrelated.
I actually stopped doing. I used to track, and then I stopped tracking because I play about 3 to 4 different variation and just different deck of a hero at a time, and it just made me unreasonable to keep track of every single one of them.
Okay. I see. You misinterpreted? Did you misinterpret
Oh
the
yeah,
question
the
there?
question.
Yeah.
I thought you were like try to counter the decks you're facing on the day, like have different decks ready to counter the decks on the
Yeah,
banner.
not so much that as
Okay.
much as just kind of tracking what's
No,
going on.
I've
The
never
reason I
tried
brought
that.
it up is because I was talking to Admirable, I think the other night, and we were just talking about laddering and just I think just laddering efficiently and stuff like that. And he was like, "Dude, the biggest mistake that a lot of people have is they just don't track their matches. Because I don't track my matches. I usually just try to play whatever deck I kind of want to learn more and that sort of thing." And he's like, "Yeah, dude, you can ladder like much quicker if you just track your matches, and then depending on what trends you're seeing, just make adjustments, and then just have you can play the same deck, just make adjustments for this type of trend, and then make a counter adjustment for this type of trend. Maybe it's at 1 or 2 cards and that sort of thing. So that's kind of why that I asked that question because I've never done it before, and
I
it kind
think
of
that
makes
it would have been
sense.
true like a month ago when meta wasn't as shifting as fast.
Okay.
But as of now, like I don't know, it's it's the meta changed from day to night, so I don't know if it will make sense to track of them and try to counter a meta of a single day, and then at the night you have to change your deck differently. And I don't know, like if you play enough games, then
Hmm.
maybe. But I don't know if you can play enough games in short period of time to counter the decks you're seeing fast enough.
Right. Okay. Makes sense. All right, let's move on to our deck talk. And today's deck we're going to be talking about is Tides deck, Tides Warrior deck that he actually alluded to, and he played it in the Deck Wars Season 1 Finals this past weekend, and he had a lot of success with it too. So I kind of wanted to have him explain some of the card choices there, and you alluded a little bit to Leroy Jenkins already. So why don't you continue that a little bit? So how is this deck a little bit different, or I guess what decks is this deck good against versus say with the Kit Kats, the latest Kit Kats deck is? is good
Okay,
against?
so I don't know Kit Kat's exact list,
Okay.
but I basically made it so it can beat the mirror. Most of the time, it can beat.
Okay.
It has a higher chance to beat Miracle Rogues in comparison to other Control Warrior decks, um, and it actually played against Ramp Druid like 5 times in a row on ladder, uh, like the morning before I played.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty comfortable against late game Druid. More mid game Druid is probably going to be around 50-50. It just felt like a very solid deck to me, and it's no one's going to really expect this much pressure from a Control Warrior. So I decided I'd go with it in Deck Wars Finals. I don't really like it on ladder because there's so much zoo, and I need to put in probably another Pyromancer and or a Brawl to really make it good versus zoo. I don't think Brawl is good versus Shaman. I know I get a lot of questions like asking me shouldn't I put Brawl in because there's so many Shamans or something, but I've found that Brawl really never helps me actually win against Shaman, just delays the game a bit. You usually want to kill the Shaman like by turn 15 to 20.
Okay. Trump, anything specifically stand out to you in this deck?
Well, I guess the main notes are that it removed a Alexstrasza and a Ragnos for a Leroy and Wild Pyro, and there's one other card in here. Oh, that Leroy Jenkins. Wait, so Alexstrasza, Ragnos for Leroy, Pyro. It's
There's
kind
double
of
faceless in this one too. I think that the other one doesn't have.
that's right. Um, I sort of have a hard time seeing how this is better against the mirror because it seems like you might run out of damage.
Okay, that's a good point. Ty, do you ever you
The
find that
two
happening?
faceless more or less make the mirror hell for the opponent. You're gonna draw a bit more. Well, you're gonna draw equally more than likely because the 2-0 drakes. Some mirrors don't run 2-0 drakes, some do. Um, Karen, Sylvanas, two faceless, big game. All help the mirror so much. Alexstrasza is like it's way too slow. This is just pressure deck. It's gonna do nothing 99% of the, or not 90, probably like 97% of the games. But Harrison Jones obviously is good for the mirror. It doesn't have Gore Howl.
Why did you take Gorehowl on? Actually, because that's
Too slow. I don't have
just
Alexstrasza as well.
okay. Too slow.
I'd
Gotcha.
rather put in Arcanet Reaper because this is a pressure deck. It's
Right.
Gore Howl is for control. Um, yeah, mainly the two faceless Harrison Jones, Karen Sylvanas, really help with the mirror. And then if there's ever Control Warrior that doesn't run Drakes or Korkan Elites, those are also advantageous in the mirror. So yeah, I don't know. I have really never had any trouble in the mirror matchup. I've actually won 85% of the mirror matchups at least.
Massan, anything stand out to you about this deck?
I Can you guys hear? Okay,
Yeah,
good.
can hear you.
I can see that this deck will do pretty darn well against Control as well as Miracle Rogue. But how does it do against like not necessarily Zoo deck, but I don't I feel like I'm missing some early games on this game. Like you took out Armor Smith, you took Slam, so your draws shouldn't be as consistent until Zero Drake, but Zero Drake doesn't help against aggro. How do you do against the other aggro decks?
The aggro decks, yeah, I said this doesn't do so well on the ladder because it doesn't have as much AoE as I'd like to. -1 Armor Smith, -1 Slam doesn't really take away against Zoo. Having no Brawl, having not a second Pyromancer is the only thing that really takes away from Zoo. I don't have like Argus or anything, so I can't like. I used to run one Argus in my old Warrior deck, and basically, if I ever got a big creature down, I just win with an Argus on the board and faceless.
How,
But
how,
yeah,